Sales is a game of emotion, and people buy with emotion and then justify with logic. That is what the marketing industry says, and they think that it is just enough, but it is not enough. People may be buying with emotion and all of that, but that is a game of marketing. If you're running ads, if you're doing any kind of messaging or branding in order to trigger into people's emotional side, that is the job of marketing. But at the end of the day, if you're a salesperson, especially a commission salesperson, then it becomes your job to turn all of those leads and all of that interest into actual sales. And while logic may be a minor percentage of the actual sales call, logic does have to be satisfied before the person takes that credit card out, or writes you a check or makes you that GPay. My name is Dr. Rajat Sinha, and I'm a medical doctor turned sales strategist. And after failing for many, many years in my sales journey, not having any kind of MBA degree, in fact, coming from a medical side where I did not actually know anything about sales, and doctors are the worst people to make any kind of sales. But I was able to master these techniques after many, many years of working in the sales side, working with top class mentors, and actually working in Silicon Valley and bringing hundreds of crores of rupees of foreign exchange and taxes to India through our acquisition. After that, I decided that sales strategy and sales techniques is something that is sorely lacking in India, especially in the commission selling segment, where companies are hiring millions and millions of distributors. And when I say hiring, they're not giving them payment retainer or salary or anything. They're just hiring them on the promise that if you make the sale, we will split the percentage with you. And that is letting a lot of commission sellers lose in the marketplace without any support and without the right kind of training. So if you are such a person who is selling only on commission and your income is only going to come after you make the sale, or if you're an entrepreneur or an online entrepreneur like a coach, consultant, trainer, author, speaker, then this video could be very, very important for you. Before I go ahead, all of these factors that I'm talking about are in detail covered in my book, which is called Nail Negotiation Selling the Bible of Sales. You can just do a search with my name, Dr. Rajat Sinha, on Amazon, or search for the book Nail Negotiation Selling and grab a copy of it. Anyway, here we go. What are the different logical factors that go into the making of a sale? And when I say a sale, means inside that one sales meeting, you got to make sure that you go for the close where a person is going to take out their credit card or their GPay or their cash and make you a payment right away. So on the logical side, people take decisions in stages. While from the marketing angle, you could have run an ad, you could have got a lead, somebody who you have triggered their emotional side. But at the end of the day, the money is only going to come out of their pocket if you've done a good job on setting up your product in a logical fashion so that they are going to pay for it. Okay, very, very simple. So logical decision taking is done in stages, breaking through the prospect's barriers. And going through these stages is like peeling the layers of the onion, thus getting to the core. Right now, this can differ differently for different types of buyers, and we are going to be talking about different types of buyers in a separate video. But the basic market intelligence I just want to give you today are the basic core rules of how to open up the logical side of the discussion and get your product to qualify. Okay, I'm going to help you open up 3 layers of the onion, and in my next video where I'm going to be talking about the types of buyers based on awareness, I'm going to be helping you to understand how to close each type of buyer with these elements. All right, so let's go. Now quickly, I'm going to share my screen and show you the sales elements, which are which are the logical elements of the sale, and we call them the vehicle, the big domino, and the guarantee. Okay, the vehicle, the big domino, and the guarantee. If you are doing any kind of online marketing course, or if you're doing webinars or consultative calls or something like that, you'd probably be conversant with these terms already, because a lot of people talk about the big domino selling, and it was made famous in our time by Russell Brunson, the founder of ClickFunnels and the richest internet marketer of our time. Okay, so what is the vehicle, what is the big domino, and what is the guarantee? Every single product, especially a make money product or a health product, is based on some underlying gospel truth that nobody can dispute, and that is called the vehicle. Okay, so for example, in my case, I sell a product where I talk about building database using Facebook Business Suite, and the vehicle that I say is database, which is, if you are a seller, if you are a entrepreneur, then you would agree with me that anybody who has the biggest prospect database is going to win in the marketplace, regardless of whether their product may be the most superior or not. But somebody who has the more data is going to beat somebody else who has less data. less database? And the answer is yes. Nobody who's in the sales profession is going to dispute that. Okay. Similarly, if you're selling a health product, if you're selling a health product, and let us say your product is into weight loss, so what is going to be your vehicle? Your vehicle is going to be calorie deficit. What is calorie deficit? Simply put, the only way to lose weight is basically to go into let the body consume or burn more calories than you are eating. Now you can do this in many different ways. You can do it through dieting, you can do it through exercise, you can do it through high intensity interval training, weightlifting, whatever it is. All of those are separate modalities, but the vehicle is essentially the same, which is, hey man, if you want to lose weight, then you have to go into calorific deficit. Nobody in the world can dispute that, because that is gospel truth. Similarly, if you're into any kind of make money product, let us say passive income product, what is the vehicle? The eighth wonder of the world, Warren Buffett says, is the power of compounding. And if your money is not compounding, then obviously then you're losing something, because you need to have your money compound, otherwise it's not going to grow. Okay, so compounding could be your vehicle. I'm just giving you certain examples. Depending on what kind of product you're selling, it could be different. Like in my case, when I was still in medical college, I got started into network marketing, and the vehicle that my mentor taught me at that time was hourly rate versus total number of hours. Okay, hourly rate was a total number of hours, and my mentor said, well, you're going to be a medical doctor. What is the ultimate aim of a medical doctor? Well, it's to become a super specialist. Why is that? Well, because super specialists get paid more, they have more reputation, etc. And he said, can we just simplify that and say a graduate doctor gets paid a certain number of money per hour, and a postgraduate specialist gets paid a little more, and super specialist gets paid even more. Is that right? Yes, well, that's right. Okay. What is the ultimate rate for the highest paid heart surgeon in India, for example? The highest paid heart surgeon in India makes X amount of money. And that means the highest possible rate per hour for any kind of doctor, even if you were to reach the zenith, is basically going to be, let's say, X amount per hour. Let's say a lakh of rupees per hour. Okay. And that is the rate. Okay. The difference between becoming a professional and becoming a business person is, business person does not look at the rate per hour, but looks at the scale, which is how many hours can go into my business. And in certain cases like Tata's, etc., they have 30,000 plus employees working 8 hours a day. So that is so many lakhs of hours going into their business. So that is the reason, if you want to get more rich, instead of increasing your hourly rate, look at increasing the number of hours that go into your business, which is actually the number one reason why top business people are actually, they're not very educated. They could be college dropouts and things like that. In fact, the richest people in almost every country are not very highly educated, and the reason is because they did not work, or they did not invest a whole lot of time of their life in increasing the hourly rate of their hours, but they actually saved all that time and figured out how to build big teams and get more and more people to give hours into their business. Okay. So that was the vehicle that my mentor first told me, and it kind of, once that logical switch was opened, I kept thinking about it. I kept thinking, well, that's very, very interesting. What are the different ways that I can get more and more hours into my business? All right. This is what we call the vehicle, which is a gospel truth or a logical truth that nobody can disagree with. And this should be your first logical step, or if you're doing webinars or consultation calls, this should be your secret number one. Okay. So in online marketing, we talk about secrets, although a vehicle, truly put, cannot be a secret, because a vehicle is a publicly accepted, non-disputable fact. All right. But however, if you're using it in your marketing, you can call this your secret number one, because when you go and start talking logic with a prospect, whenever inside the sales call, when the time is to talk logic, when the emotional elements and all of the dominant buying motives are out of the way, when you start talking about hardcore logic, the first step you take, or the first variable you discuss with the prospect, is the vehicle, the core vehicle based on which your product is built. Okay. If you're selling a health supplement, then micronutrition should be your vehicle, which is, the micronutrients are the ones that available in very small quantities, but they are the ones that make sure that the macronutrients are working and the big machinery is working in the right order. For example, if you have a motor vehicle, then the macronutrient is definitely going to be the petrol or diesel that you put inside it. However, if you don't put engine oil, which is required in very minuscule quantities, then the engine is going to seize at some point, and regardless of how much petrol or diesel you put in the vehicle, is going to be of no good. Plus, the problem with micronutrients is the if a macronutrient, if your motor vehicle runs out of petrol or diesel, you can always refill it. But if a micronutrient runs out and you get some disaster happening in the vehicle, then it's going to be very, very difficult to get the vehicle back in working order. And that is the reason why it's very, very important for, let us say, vitamin supplementation, because these are the micronutrients that keep the engine of the body working. Okay, so that's how you introduce the value of what you're going to sell them, is by getting them to agree to the indisputable fact, which is your vehicle. Okay, so that is secret number one. Now, what happens after that? Usually, most of your prospects who are going to be sitting in front of you will, obviously, they will not only agree with the vehicle, but chances are they may also have been aware of this fact even before you sit down. And then comes hyper personalization, which means assuming that a prospect sitting in front of you for a make money kind of a sale understands the value of compounding, assuming that a prospect who's sitting in front of you for a health, weight loss kind of a thing understands caloric loss, caloric deficit, then how do you hyper personalize this pitch so that they buy only from you and not from anybody else, right? Because they already know the basics of the vehicle. Chances are they are already doing some research, they're already looking at multiple different brands, they're already looking at multiple different salespersons to buy from. So what do you do? At that point, what you do is you talk about secret number two, which we call the big domino. We call it what? The big domino. What is the big domino? The big domino is the usually the number one trending objection in the mind of a prospect, which is making them actually sit in front of you because they haven't already made a purchase. They haven't already made a purchase. That is why they're sitting in front of you. If they had already made a purchase for whatever health goal or money goal that they're looking for, they would not be sitting in front of you, right? So if somebody is already taking care of their diet and they're already going to the gym, chances are they're not going to be listening to you for weight loss because they're already getting the weight loss. Similarly, if somebody is growing their corpus or building their retirement in an acceptable fashion, chances that they're going to be not going to be looking at make money opportunities or looking at getting out of debt, because they're already getting the results, they're already on the journey. So the fact that the prospect is sitting in front of you and the fact that they agreed with vehicle number one means that there is some obstacle that is preventing them from utilizing their pre-existing knowledge, which is the knowledge about the vehicle, to get them the results that they want. So they know about calorific deficit, but they are still not losing weight. They know about the power of compounding, but they're still not saving or growing their money. So what is it that is stopping them? Okay, and this could be a variety of different factors based on what kind of customer that you have. But in many cases, people have a misconceived notion of how they may get, for example, caloric deficit. A lot of people think it's a lot of hard work in order to get caloric deficit. Either I have to give up all my favorite foods and starve myself to death, or chances are I'm going to work very, very hard to lose a few pounds, and then as soon as I stop working hard, the pounds are going to come back. Or losing weight involves long distance running and lifting a lot of weights and doing a lot of high intensity, testosterone driven training, which they don't really relate to. But that is the picture in their mind. What you can do at this stage is start opening them up to a big domino, which is big domino is a big obstacle in their mind. And you can start telling them, well, doing hard work or doing difficult things like dieting and going to the gym is one way of actually getting that caloric deficit. But a simpler way is maybe flipping a hormonal switch, maybe flipping a mindset switch, maybe doing some self-hypnosis, which makes it easy for you to start losing that particular flab instead of going the hard way. Okay, when I started, I was actually working with a company that produced alkaline water, and the big domino that I would share with people is that in an alkaline state, your body automatically starts getting optimized with regard to body weight and loses the excess flab much faster than you would do in an acidotic state. And only if you were to turn your body state into a little more alkaline state, you would start losing the excess pounds, which anyway your body has accumulated as a defense against acidosis. Okay, so that was one of the big dominoes that I've used in the past, but in your particular case it could be something else. So just do some research on whatever product that you're selling and how it is that they actually give caloric deficit or whatever it is that they give in order to get the prospect the health result or the money result. In case of make money, it could be something else. Hey man, you're growing your money, you're doing the compounding, but the problem is that you're not doing it enough. There are certain growth areas that you're missing out, and you think you're compounding your money at 8%, 9% or 10%, but that is not quite enough, simply because today, even on long-term capital gain, There is taxation of 10%, which you haven't accounted for. So your secret number two or your big domino could be taxation. Or it could be relative growth. What is relative growth? You think that growing your money at 10% or 12% is adequate because it beats inflation. But the point is that there are certain industries that are growing at 20%, 25% because they're slated to grow like that because of the India growth story. So you should be heavily weighted towards these industries so that you make maximum benefit. And if you are growing at 12% and you could have potentially grown at 18%, then chances are, relatively speaking, you are losing 6% or you're getting poorer by 6%. Okay, so those are some of the angles that you can play while selling make money products while playing health products. Definitely tweak these to your advantage by discussing with your mentor or your upline and just focusing on what it is that your product is making it work. Okay, please do not use generalized stuff that I'm telling you. Although these hooks are going to work very very well because I've used them myself. All right. Now, what is the third thing? The third thing is there are certain kind of prospects who really, once the logical game is played, they really want to see something like a guarantee. They're really wanting to do business with you, but they need to hear something to just tip them over the edge. And this is where your secret number three comes in. And your secret number three is the guarantee. What are the different guarantees that you can give people so that they work with you? They're already wanting to work with you because you pulled the emotional triggers, you pulled the logical triggers, and now you just want to tip them over the edge. And certain guarantees you can give is hard guarantees. You are going to get this result from me, else your money back, or in so many days, else your money back. Okay, some hard guarantees. There are soft guarantees like your brand visibility, which is, hey man, I'm the number one guy doing this for commission sellers. Work with Dr. Rajat Sinha because for commission sellers going online, I'm the only brand, right? Or you can talk about your track record, which is, hey man, we have so many case studies of people we have worked with exactly in your age segment, and that's what makes us the best choice to work with you. All right. Or you can have an active community on social media or something like that, where they just scroll through your Facebook group or scroll through your YouTube, and in 5 seconds they know that, man, you are the right person that I want to work with, simply because there's so many people involved, so many activities happening. Like if you go to my Facebook group, there's so much of activity happening, so many people involved, so much of exciting stuff happening that most people are going to say, okay, this seems to be a serious guy. He's built a bunch of people who are hanging around him, so obviously he must be valuable. So let's work with him. Okay. So soft guarantees and hard guarantees. Bring in communities, case studies, your brand visibility or something like that, your publications. Like I'm making this YouTube video to add to my publications library. I've made so many different pieces of content that people who see me probably decide, hey man, he's the right guy to work with or something like that. Okay, so these are the three sales elements, logical elements, which is the vehicle, the big domino, and the guarantee that you should think about. Now, homework I'm going to give you is think about what product that you have, what is the underlying undisputable fact that it works on, what is the vehicle. The second thing is, what is the reason that most people may know about the vehicle but they still are not getting the results? So what is a little trigger factor that your unique product can fill in, which makes them say, okay, I agree that this is the thing that could work for me. And the third thing is, do you have other case studies that you're pulling together, keeping them in a community? Are you building your brand value by creating free publications like I'm doing on YouTube right now or on Facebook group right now? And how can you pull all of these three together so that by the time you come to the logical side of the conclusion, takes only 5 to 15 minutes in a sales call, but once you're able to establish that logical angle, then money comes flying out of pockets and people want to invest with you, simply because emotions are not enough to get the money out. Yes, buying and selling is an emotional game and marketing is an emotional game, but the one thing that that is severely lacking in our game, especially in India, is sales strategy. And unless you get your sales strategy right, money is not going to come out of pocket. You're going to have lots of leads. You're going to have lots of love from those leads. People are going to thank you for adding value to them, etc., etc. But you're going to end up with less money or no money. And that is the reason I'm making this video. Now, if you like this video, please put a comment below, or please let me know what other videos you want to see me make, and I'll be happy to respond to you and make those videos. Grab a copy of Nil Negotiation Selling, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.